I know you were in Nashville at one point test driving again, and you and your friend were accosted by the police there.
When they finally left, we couldn't do what we set out to do, which was talk about the car, because we were too upset.
Yes.
So I asked him on camera to tell me about what just happened.
Man, we're sitting out there beginning to make some shots of the car, and the guy walks up, white male, certainly uneducated, seemingly a little dirty, and asking if there was anything that he could do to help us. Began to try to sell us items that were of interest, that he thought might be of interest to a black male, a car with rims on it that is sitting in his family's home or property behind the home in the woods. Just a really unsettling piece with him. I've been reading a book called White Like Me by Tim Wise, and one of the things that Tim Wise mentions is that whether white America would ever admit it or not, but there is just this natural piece of privilege and comfort that comes with having been born white in America. And what Tim Wise was suggesting actually showed in that young man this morning, that because he was white, because he was male, I think he felt comfortable with being in a natural position of authority. I recently had a lunch with a police officer who I was courting to become a board member. And over that lunch, he and I were chatting, and I was really trying to also build and secure a relationship with him. And I'm not really sure how we got on the subject of guns, but somehow we did. I ended up asking him, while we're sitting at lunch at a table, nice restaurant, I ended up asking him, you know, how do I learn to aim better with a firearm? He makes a gun with his fingers and points at me directly across from the table, saying, well, what you really want to do is get your target in your sights. And once you have it in the middle of your sights, goes into constantly explaining how to correctly fire upon the object or whatever it is that you're trying to hit, while doing it with a fake finger gun directly in my face. Extremely uncomfortable moment. I remember being asked while I was at Morehouse College in the class in poli-sci, why do black people riot in our communities and burn our neighborhoods down? If what has gone on around the country was the same situation that I experienced in the 90s with Rodney King, it wasn't that we decided to burn our own neighborhoods, it was that we were actually pushed into our own neighborhoods by the police departments, and there we were allowed to explode in our own anger. My son had a substitute teacher a couple of days ago. He and I were talking about the image that we present of ourselves, and he was telling me how his substitute teacher was pretty hard on him throughout the day, making him not talk, making him sit down, and he kept saying that even the moments that she was telling him not to talk, it was when he was answering questions for the class, or when he had gotten up to maybe go sharpen a pencil, that she was really hard on him, as he thought, unnecessarily. Said by the end of the day, the teacher said to him, hey, you're nothing like what I thought you were. He said to me that he didn't understand what that meant until he and I were having a conversation about what we present of ourselves to others, and how we dress makes an unknown statement to others because of what has been presented to them, and maybe images in the media or what they've just come to understand of race, period. This has been a piece that has been boiling inside minorities for, who knows, decades. Decades in my case, probably centuries among generations, because not much has changed.